The Glock 19 is literally the most popular gun in the world. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, my name is Anthony, and here we talk about all things preparedness, training, and education. And today we are talking about training, specifically the Glock 19 for concealed carry. And so this is going to be my review of the Glock 19, specifically the Gen 4, from a concealed carry perspective. I was out on the range doing some training, and I realized in 10 years of owning this Glock 19 Gen 4, I have never done a review on it for concealed carry, and so that's what we're going to do today. Since its inception in 1988, the Glock 19 has taken over the world, the gun world specifically. You know, it's a scaled down version of the Glock 17, and this one's all tricked out. I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I have on it and why I have it on there and how it got on there. And anything you see in this video, I will, if possible, link to it down in the description below. It'll also be linked in the first comment. But here we go. 1988, it was introduced, and because of its compact size, high capacity, and relative ease of shooting and concealment, the Glock 19 literally took over the world with regard to concealed carry handguns. And duty handguns for that matter. It's got its popularity with military and police, but we're talking concealed carry and what makes this, even in 2025, a great concealed carry option. So overall, what stands out about the Glock 19 that everybody is trying to copy, and everybody literally is copying it, even though it is 1988 old, you know, movies from 1988, music from 1988, and guns from 1988. Everybody still uses them, and they use them for good reason. You know, Glock pioneered the polymer frame with the safe action system, and that steamrolled into a gun with reliability that is still unmatched today in the industry. Now, for all you naysayers, and I know you're out there and you're going to put it down in the comments, that the Glock 19 is no longer the most reliable handgun on the market, or there are equivalents to it on the market, or there are other guns out there just as good as the Glock 19. Here's the problem. They're the pioneers. And so yes, has technology caught up to Glock? Technology has caught up to Glock. But the problem is those innovations that take place in technology, they don't have the time backing them, the tried and true system backing them, that allows them to claim being the most reliable handgun on the market. They can mimic the technology all they want to, and they can look at it, but as long as they don't infringe on the patents, they're not going to be able to claim the identical reliability. And that's just a factor of time itself. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, drop that down in the comments below. You're either a Glock guy, not a Glock guy at all, or you don't mind Glock and you can take it or leave it. But no matter which one you are, you have to agree. The Glock 19 is literally the most popular gun in the world, even until this day. So quick specs for concealed carry and why this makes an excellent concealed carry handgun. Well, it's chambered in 9mm, if you didn't know that, and 9mm has proven itself again and again and again, both in military, law enforcement, and with concerned armed citizens, that 9mm has the stopping power, the terminal ballistics, to get the job done in a critical dynamic incident. And so you can rely on 9mm, well-placed 9mm rounds to defend your life and to defend the life of those that you love. This is just over 7 inches in total length. It has a 4-inch barrel and a height of approximately 5 inches that makes this a very easy gun to carry and to conceal. And it has a 15-round stock mag capacity, which is plenty of ammo to do basically anything you need it to do. So when I'm considering a gun for concealed carry, and I'm considering a gun like the Glock 19 versus all the subcompacts or the micro compacts out there on the market, that you'll say, Anthony, those are smaller, those are easier to conceal, and I understand what you're saying. However, there is the factor that has never been confirmed as an actual word, but there is the factor shootability. If shootability is a real word, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Is shootability a real word or not a real word? Anyway, you know what I mean. Shootability. The ability to shoot the gun and to shoot it accurately, combat accurately, that you can put hits on target and you can put hits on target fast enough to save your life. There's also the size factor when it comes to actually getting that gun out of your waistband. You see, you can't just put a micro compact in your waistband and hope to find it efficiently and accurately every single time. So not only is the Glock 19 concealable, but it is also accessible. When you go to get that gun, it's there and you know you have a gun. You don't have just a tiny little handle that you're grabbing onto, but it's not a full-size gun either to where it's not concealable. You can actually index your hand and grip that gun the way it's meant to be gripped and the way it's meant to be indexed. You get a full firing grip every time because the Glock 19 has struck the balance for concealed carry. So balance is the key to the Glock 19 for concealed carry. It is balanced out length and height and width to where it is easy to conceal, and yet it is very easy to shoot. You know, shooting is not difficult, but it does help to have a good gun. If you get a snappy little 9mm, it's harder to control and it's harder to get follow-up shots on target if you don't control that gun well. If you get a larger gun, a full-size gun as opposed to a compact, say the G17 or the G22, it's harder to conceal and it's not as comfortable to conceal. But the Glock 19, it strikes the balance for shootability and comfortable all-day carry. So what about performance? It goes without saying that the Glock 19 is the single most reliable compact handgun on the market. So whether you're a new shooter or you're a seasoned shooter, if you're a seasoned shooter, you probably already own 1, 2, or 3. I own 3 Glock 19s. Let me know how many Glock 19s you own. Drop it down in the comments below. If you're new to guns and you're out looking for, you know, that first gun, you cannot go wrong with a Glock 19 at all. It will be the perfect introduction into the gun world, especially for concealed carry, because as I said, it is balanced out in all the right attributes for concealed carry. Now we've gone over, you know, why I like the Glock 19 and probably the reasons you like the Glock 19 as well. But let's go over some of the cons that people talk about the Glock 19, and you'll see some of the changes that I've made on this particular Gen 4 Glock 19. It's all tricked out, or at least what I consider all tricked out, and I'll tell you what I've done to it and why I've done it to it. And first I want to talk about the trigger. You know, Glock triggers, I'm going to show you a comparison here of the Gen 5 trigger and then the trigger that I have installed on here by Trigger Shark.
And then watch the pre-travel on that. It's about half or a third before you get to the wall. And it's a lighter break altogether. It's probably half a pound lighter, something like that. And then half the rack to slide. but the reset is shorter also, so it takes all the travel up behind and in front of the trigger, and it makes it a lighter trigger.
This is the 3.5 pound version by Trigger Shark, and I was opposed to changing the trigger on a carry gun because I just don't want to mess with anything stock, especially on the most reliable handgun on the market, the most safe action pistol on the market. I didn't want to mess with the trigger until I found Trigger Shark. And what's different about them is they take the OEM Glock trigger and they take the exact function of the OEM Glock trigger and they reduce the travel a little bit, they reduce the poundage a little bit, and they reduce the reset travel just a little bit. And what that comes up with is a more finely tuned, safe stock trigger. They also trim down the safety tab on the trigger right here. You can see it's a little less pronounced, but it is still there and activates perfectly. And so they have done their research over there at Trigger Shark. In fact, I like this trigger so much, I got with Dan over at Trigger Shark and I said, hey, look, I want to promote this trigger because it is a safe OEM option that can be dropped in here very easily. I installed it in less than 5 minutes, and it gives me the safety and reliability, but it also gives me basically enhanced perfection, if that's a thing. I think that's what Dan over at Trigger Shark says they do, is they make perfection better. So you can use the code Anthony if you go over to Trigger Shark's website. I can't link to that because of YouTube policy, but if you go over to Trigger Shark's website, if you just Google Trigger Shark, or if you look up triggershark.com, you can find the different triggers out there for the different Glocks that they have, and you can use the code Anthony for 15% off any products on their website from Trigger Shark. If you call Dan up, tell him Anthony sent you, and you won't be disappointed. So this trigger makes a great shooting experience even better. It's crisp, it's clean, the take-up is reduced, the wall is the same, you still have that predictable wall, and you still have all the safety that you have relied on and come to know as perfection in the past, but you have a 3.5 pound trigger, and you have a cleaner reset, and it takes all the sponginess out of the Glock trigger, if you know what I mean. So I am super happy with this Trigger Shark trigger, and it looks good too on my Lipsy's Gray Glock 19. So that was where I got this. So let me give you the whole history on this. This is a Lipsy's Gray Special Edition. This is not Cerakoted, but this is actually gray from Glock, and this is the Lipsy's Gray frame. They had two versions of this that came out, I think, in 2015. They had the gray frame with the gray Cerakoted slide, or they had the gray frame with the standard slide, and I chose the two-tone because I thought it looked better, and that was what was available to me at my local gun store at the time. And I think I got it right when it came out, either in 2015 or 2016, so roughly 10 years ago. So that trigger was the upgrade that I did. And then I had the stock sights on there, but I had a guy that was going to machine the slide for me. As you can see, this slide is all machined out with the honeycomb, and it has the company name on there, and it has the design and slide serrations, and it's taken a little bulk off the slide, and then it has 9mm engraved right on the top of the barrel. And so I got all that work done, and then the one thing that particular machine shop did, and I think he was newer to machining at the time, and he didn't know it, and I didn't know it because I was new to optics at the time, but I wanted a specific optic on there, not the optic that's on there now, a different brand. And he machined the slot for it, but he left off the shear pins, and that's really important when you're mounting an optic, is to have shear pins. So I actually got online, I Googled, and I ended up getting a hold of Buck Holly over at C&H Precision. And I actually got Buck on the phone one night, and I was talking to him, and I explained what happened. He said, you know what we can do? He said, send me that slide. He said, we can machine it down to the Glock MOS configuration. He said, then you can mount a plate in there for a Trijicon RMR, a plate that they make. And then you can mount the Trijicon, or you can swap out plates and mount anything you want to in there, because now you have basically the MOS equivalent that they custom did to this slide. And so that's how I ended up with this Trijicon on there. And this is the RMO4 amber dot, and this is the tritium amber, so it doesn't have a battery. I've been, man, super pleased with this dot. I love it, especially for up close and for my old eyes, and it has a big dot on it. And so it has just been a great optic for me. And then what else Buck did was he, because of the original slot the way it was, he moved the optic back, and then he machined the rear sight in front of the optic. And so I have Trijicon suppressor height sights, the Trijicon RMR, and I really, really like that configuration. I really like shooting it. I definitely like shooting it at distance because it helps tremendously. But it just overall is a great functioning and a great looking Glock 19. And so those are the changes I made to it, and that's the beauty about the Glock 19. It is so popular because it's so reliable and it's so nice to shoot and it's so nice to carry that aftermarket support out there is basically anything you want it to be, you can do that. And so the way I carry this in a Tac-to-Pack Max 2.0. Again, that's linked down in the description below if you're looking for a great comfortable holster to complement a great comfortable gun. I carry it like that with an extra magazine, and that's an Arredondo, I hope I'm saying that right, an Arredondo base plate. That is a +6 in 9mm. You can get these in 9mm. Well, this will fit 9mm or 40 cal. In 40 cal, it gives you 5 extra rounds. In 9mm, it gives you 6 extra rounds. So I turned a 15-round extra magazine into 21 rounds extra. So I have 15, 16 in the gun with 1 in the chamber, and 21 extra rounds. That is a lot of ammo for daily carry, and that prepares you basically for anything you're going to come upon short of a war scenario. So those are the things, and that's how I carry it. The stock sights are another complaint that people talk about in Glock, and I get it, they're plastic sights, but you know what? I've never had a plastic sight ruin or fall off the Glock. Now, I've never dropped them off a cliff or anything like that, but even in all the torture tests I've seen online, very rarely do the stock sights just come off the gun. On the other hand, I've had a P365 front sight just fall off the gun while I'm shooting it, which is ridiculous. So the stock sights, that's another complaint. Get yourself some Trijicons. I have never had problems with stock sights. The only reason I have these suppressor height sights on is because I put an optic on here. If I could have got a co-witness to stock sights, I would have left that there. But it is what it is, and that's the way it's turned out for me. So the Glock 19 in 2025, it absolutely stands up still to the competition, if not leads the competition out there. There are good guns. Put your favorite down in the comments below and let me know what you would compare favorably to the Glock 19 and what you would put over it for concealed carry. Now, if you're the person out there that needs a reliable first concealed carry handgun, or you're not happy with the concealed carry handgun that you have, you can't go wrong with a Glock 19. Any generation, this happens to be the Gen 4. Some specifics about the Gen 4 as compared to previous models and other models, as you're going to notice, it has the finger grooves as opposed to the Gen 5. The Gen 2 and the Gen 3, I believe, had the finger grooves as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Gen 5 definitely does not. It is the smooth but textured grip. These fit me perfectly well. Now, if you have bigger hands or smaller hands, they may not ride where you want them to, and those bumps may not be in the right place for you. I did the undercut on the trigger guard because that allows me to get a little higher up under there and get a just a better grip, overall grip on that gun. And I was messing around with what would look cool and feel good and perform better, and that's the undercut I came up with. I just copied some of the stuff that was out on the market. I did it myself with a Dremel, and it worked out really well for me, and I love it. I love the way it functions. I love the way it shoots. So the Glock 19 for concealed carry, it checks all the boxes for a great concealed carry gun. Who is it for? It's for the new shooter, it's for the seasoned shooter, it's for the law enforcement professional, it's for the military professional that needs a great sidearm that is completely reliable and has all the aftermarket support parts, accessories, and goodies to Gucci out your Glock any way you want to. You can't go wrong with the Glock 19. So that's my take on the Glock 19 for concealed carry. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you would, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so that you get notified every time we put out content like this. And as always, God bless you and yours.